Hi guys, this is Dan from Chia. Um, I'm going to reply to one of our viewers' comments in a minute. Joe Field, thank you for your message and your question. I'll get onto that in a moment. The first thing I wanted to do, guys, is apologise that there's been a big gap in between my videos. Unfortunately, my son's been quite poorly, so I've had to spend some time looking after him. So I'm hoping that I can get back on board. Get the videos going again. So apologies that there's been a delay. I know I've had some messages from some people about some more videos and stuff, so I'm going to get those underway, try and get some editing stuff and done on them and get them posted for you all. But I thought I'd do this this quick one, as I say, just as an update for you guys, and also to answer this question, just in case anybody else has the same thing. I thought it might be easier to do on a quick video like this. So Joe Feel, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Apologies if it's wrong. But thanks very much for your question. And Joe Phil says, awesome video, quick question. Also looking into getting into this, which I'm assuming obviously is Chia. And then he goes on to say, considering that currently 100 terabytes of storage makes about $1.50, does this mean that he'll need 7,000 terabytes in order to make around $100 a day? How many 3 terabyte drives would I have to buy in order to get 7,000 terabytes? And he got 2,333. That's a headache indeed, because that's a lot of drives. Does that math check out? So Jafil, yeah, I've had a quick look at the numbers. One of the first things I would say is there's a few things out there. One of them is Chia calculator, which you can actually put in. It only goes up to sort of 1,000, close to 1,000 tebibytes on there, but you can actually calculate it. It gives you an estimated time to win, and it also updates with the current value of Chia from Coinbase. But you can manually change that and put in a figure that you want, if you want it slightly different, or if you want to see what the price is, how much you're going to get if the value goes down or if the value goes up. So you can manually change that if you want, and I've been using this, as one of the tools to sort of do those calculations. So that's something that something that a lot of you out there can go and check if you haven't already, and that's just cheercalculator.com. One of the things to bear in mind, a lot of you will know this already, but possibly some might not, that if they're new to the space. You've got tebibytes and terabytes, which are two different values. Now they're close, but they're not exact. So tebibytes, which is how this is calculated, one of those is actually worth 1.099 terabytes. And obviously the drives that most of us will be buying, they'll be in terabyte format. So just bear that in mind if you're using things like this, or if you're doing calculations, just have a look at those, because it can make a difference when you're doing your calculations. So for example, this one, Joe Field's done the calculation here, and he's got to 7,000 terabytes, which is about right, just under that. If you were to work it out, if you weren't to notice the difference between the two, and you were to work it out just like for like, tebibytes and terabytes, you'd come out with a figure that's considerably less. The figure I've got is about 6,800 terabytes, which is very similar, and indeed it would be around 2,333 3 terabyte drives. As you can see on here, guys, what I've come up with a suggestion as well is, if you're using 18 terabyte drives, you'd only need around 388. Now, obviously there's different value drives between 3 terabytes and 18 terabytes, and obviously the higher space drives you go up to, and there's I think there's 20 terabyte drives and stuff that are they're obviously coming to market and stuff now, and some even slightly bigger, but obviously the higher the drive, the less amount of drives that that you need in the long run. Now I appreciate that's not going to be for everybody, because the 18 terabyte drives, or 16 or 14, 12 or 10, the higher you go, obviously it's costing you more money. One of the things I would say to bear in mind, and drives don't use a lot of electricity, but if you're running 2,500 drives compared to 300 drives, you're going to be using less electricity as well. Now I'm over in the UK. our electricity, costs about four fingers and a foot every month to pay for our electricity costs. So they're quite high. I know there's possibly some places in the world that that might be a bit higher, and obviously there's places that are a lot lower. So it might not mean too much to you guys, but obviously there's a difference there, of nearly 2,000 drives. So you have to factor that into the cost. Obviously, the lower the price of Chia, then small electricity costs can make more of an impact, because then it starts to affect your profitability and whether you're actually making any money or not. So that's something I would factor in. And also you've got to think about, if you are starting up, if you've already got the equipment. I know there's there's people out there, Digital Spaceport. I know he's got a lot of kit and equipment, and I've seen his tubs of gear and stuff that he has in in his place and that to use. But if you're starting out and you're buying all this stuff to use, whether it be used hard drives, if you're lucky, you might get the cables and stuff to use with them. But obviously, if they're SAS, you're going to need specific SAS stuff to get those to work. You've got to think that you're having to buy you're having to buy equipment to run these, whether that be cable. And again, a SAT cable or a SAS cable is not too expensive in itself, but when you're buying 2,000 of them, again, that's something to factor in. So even though bigger drives are going to be more expensive, and I've done this as well, guys. I bought just whatever drives I could get, really, just any cheap drives, used drives, which is kind of what the Chia project was designed for, to kind of get old data center drives, old drives that people didn't use or want anymore because they're upgrading to bigger size drives. The Chia project was designed primarily to kind of utilize these so that it was it's more environmentally friendly, and utilize old hardware and stuff, so that it wasn't going onto landfill. Now, I have bought a couple of brand new drives when they've been, when it's been a good deal, especially on the 18 terabyte ones. But most of my drives have come, come secondhand, and they're smaller drives. And I've got, anything from 500 gig, as I say, all the way up to 18 terabyte drives and everything in between. So if I was starting out new, I think I would probably, try and buy as big a size drives as I could, because you've got the storage space, you've got the cost of running the drives, even though that that's quite minimal, certainly compared to graphics cards and stuff. And you've also got the costs of the equipment to run them, like I say, whether that be the actual SATA or SAS cables, or whether it be the the controllers to run 2,000 SATA drives, or whether it be the actual SAS controllers, or any other devices. Obviously, to run this amount, you've got all those other things, factors involved. So I think if I was starting out fresh now, and starting from scratch, I think I would try and buy the biggest drives that I could to factor all that in. That's something that I would do. So yeah, as I say, as a result of these, and the other thing I would say, obviously, if you are starting out and you're asking questions like this, is that other things are dependent on it as well. Obviously, the Chia price, that can fluctuate. It's been relatively stable overall, I think, for the last sort of 3 to 6, maybe even 9 months. It started really high, and then it's been dropping and dropping and dropping, but overall, it's been relatively stable. It's not sort of 10, 20, $30 up and down in that sort of bracket. So it's not necessarily as as volatile as some other cryptocurrencies and stuff that I've seen. So it is relatively stable. But that's something to consider as well, is that the price can go down as well as it can go up. So bear those things in mind when you're buying these amount of drives, you're spending that amount, that this sort of stuff. is that you're going to have the running costs, you're going to have that outlay, and if the price goes down, then you have to factor that in as well. Likewise, the price can go up, and that's what all of us Chia bots are hoping. We're supporting the network, keeping everything running, even though profits aren't massive. And I think I've commented on some of the videos that the Poor Investor and Digital Spaceport and stuff have done previously, where I'm probably one of those sad people that even if the price dropped, where it's costing me a little bit of money each month, I would probably keep my farm running to try and support the network and try and, in the hope that it would still move back into profit one day. I'm one of those kind of people. It get to a point, but if it's not costing too much to run it, I'd probably keep it going. But again, that's something to factor in. And obviously, if you're part of a pool as well, if you've got your farm connected to a pool, then there's other things to factor in. If I've been with Spacepool since Spacepool started, and you certainly, I don't have experience on the other pools, so maybe some other people can comment on this. But with Spacepool, the longer you're with them, you kind of get you make a bit more money. They don't charge you so much. They don't take as much off you for the for your fees and stuff. So you get a bit of a reduction in that, and then you get a reduction on the size of your farm as well. So all of those things can factor in. So the kind of $100 a day, can vary with all of those factors. And I could be saying this, I could be replying to your message now, Jafil, and by the time this goes live, or by the time people are watching it, the price of Chia could be half what it is now, and and obviously all this is irrelevant really. So yeah, do what you can do in terms of your finances. Do what's best for you, and if you've just got a few old drives lying around that you want to use, and get yourself started, then then do that. If you can afford to get bigger size drives, then like I said, that's what I would do. Like I said, for all of those reasons that I've said already. Okay, guys. So if this is the first video you're watching of mine, then please like and subscribe. Much love out to everybody that's subscribed and watched the videos already. It all helps. One of the things I would say to you guys, I know some people have sort of mentioned to me about money and earning money and stuff as well. It doesn't. You if you haven't kind of looked into it on YouTube, you don't really make any money until you've got. I'll put it on here. Look. You don't make any money until you've got at least 1,000 subscribers and you've got 4,000 watch hours. And even then, as I'm sure, Poor Investor and stuff will tell you, you don't make massive amounts of money. So I would love to get the channel, to a point where, where I can do that and do something full time. But as I say, at the moment, I have to work as well. And I've got some lovely children as well that take up my time, as I'm sure many of you guys have as well. So this is kind of an extra thing that that I've wanted to do for a while, and set up. So apologies, there's not been any videos since these ones were out 3 weeks ago, but this is another one popped on there, and hopefully, as I say, I can get some more content. I have been working on this drive thing here, so I'm gonna put some bits on there, as soon as I can. But yeah, as I say, guys, if this is your first time watching, please like and subscribe. Thanks ever so much to everybody that's been supporting the channel already by subscribing, by watching, by liking, by commenting. All of those things really help. And if this is your first look into Chia, then please go and check out some of these channels here. These are guys that that I've watched and have kind of inspired and motivated me for my my Chia projects and things like that. So yeah, thanks ever so much, guys. Really appreciate it, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care, guys. Have a good day.